Welcome, everybody. Yo, what's up, everybody? Thank y'all for the love. Thank y'all for watching. This is the 75th episode of the In Your Face show. And I'm here with the lovely Miss Cynda Williams. Introduce yourself, my sister.
Hello, everyone. Cinda Williams here, sitting in my car. But I wanted to be here with you and enjoy this conversation. And hopefully, everyone is blessed and well out there.
Very awesome. Very well. Very well. Yeah. Hopefully. So, how's your day going today?
It's good. I'm just, running around doing all the things that I do. I have a pretty active schedule, so I was like when you reached out and said let's do the show Thursday, I was like, well, I know I'll be out, but I can park. So I'm very well, just trying to keep my mood. I do suffer from that mood disorder when the sun is hidden behind the clouds. So
Very understandable.
keeping my mood high in spite of what the visuals are saying. I recently found out that the reason why it looks gray, especially in places with lots of water, is because it stays full of water. That gray is actually tons of water up in the air ready to come down. So that's why it
Ah,
looks gray around places with lakes, because there's a lot of constant that cycle
yeah.
is constantly happening. So anyway,
Mhm.
the science
That's
tidbit
all
for the day.
right. It's very understandable. Very understandable. So, we had a lot of people was asking me to ask you this question. What it was like to work in a movie such as Mad as Hell.
Mm. Mad as Hell was great for me because, first of all, I was working with people that I really care for and have worked with before. Robert Parham and I, it was like instant friendship, instant. Um, I felt like he was my brother. I don't know who's older, him or me. I'm usually older than everybody these days. I think he might be my elder by a few months or so, but we just clicked and worked very well together. I love his style of directing and the storylines that he tells. And then he's just really cool, and everybody that works with him, they're all very good people. And really was big on me um, showing a different side. I've done a lot of movies where I get to play the glamorous, pretty type of whatever. And believe you me, that is not all that I am or all that I have in me. So he wanted to give me a role where I got to reach in and get dark and gritty and not necessarily pretty. He dressed me the part. I don't hardly have on any makeup, hair, all that kind of stuff, and my character is not happy. So it was a deep dig for me and a lot of fun to do, playing opposite Robert most of the time, and Gary Turner, who was amazing, and everybody involved. It was Amy. I just loved the entire experience.
Right. True that. True that.
Mhm.
So I've met Robert. I had Robert on the show a couple of months ago, and he
Mhm.
was, ecstatic. I had G-Man on the show.
Mhm.
I've had a lot of the guys on the show, and they all Robert was telling me about is was Cinda Williams, and what I'm saying. He was always talking about you, and I'm like, I had to get on the show. I had to get on the show.
Mhm.
So so you know, what was it like to have that star power around you?
Well, the way movies typically are shot, and I'm sure a lot of people know this, but some people may not, is you may not always work with the people that are in the movie with you. Because if you're not in specific scenes together, you never might meet. And I don't live in California. Well, at the time, was I in California? I don't think I was in California when we shot that yet. And So I really didn't like to get to go to the parties and stuff like that that they did around the time. So and I also missed the premiere because I'm not there. Um, so a lot of those stars I didn't get to meet. Of course, Robert and Gary, I worked with them. Um, and I've met some of the other ladies that were involved who are amazingly talented, but I didn't get to work with them. So my experience was just about the work and trying to create. Um,
Robert said, "You know, you love that sweater."
ah! You know what? I do love that sweater, and I still have it. Actually, it's in storage. I need to get it out because where I am now, I'm gonna need it. It was not attractive in that movie, though.
uh,
He tried to find the ugliest possible clothes he could and stick me in them. Ugliest combination of colors, and not to mention, I was super thick. Like maybe unhealthy thick, and
I
it just,
understand.
you know, it wasn't my good best look, but it was a perfect look for the movie.
Well, hey, I mean, you know, if you got to do what you got to do, you know,
Mhm.
hey, got to do what you got to
Mhm.
do. So,
Yeah,
I
that's life.
mean,
I mean, it's amazing what a little hair, makeup, and clothes choice can do to a person's appearance. That it can really change you, and someone that you visualize as glamorous, you could see that they can be as uh, underkempt as anyone. You know,
right, right, right.
and like I
So, what
said,
was it like?
what's that?
Go. I didn't mean to talk over you. Go ahead.
For some reason, your sound is distorted.
I'm not sounding distorted.
Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
it
Can you hear me now?
it sounds like robotic.
All right, let me see. Let me. Is it better now?
Mm-mm,
All right, is it better now?
no.
Hmm. All right. Hold up. Let me go out real quick. Go out. Is it better now?
Perfect.
Okay.
Per-
Okay. Sorry about that.
No problem. That's the
But
thing about doing this virtual stuff. You have to deal with the technical issues right in time. There's no fixing it. A bunch of
yeah.
hands on deck to fix stuff. So yeah, been there, done that.
It's all right. It's all right. I go through
Mhm.
this all the time. But so when you are going through the motions on, or do you go through emotional times on on like on set? Like, do you feel, you know, like, oh man, like I have to do this now? You
Mm.
know.
No, no, I love what I do. I love even going deep and dark and all of that because it's it's a part of myself that only comes out when I'm acting. I'm
Okay.
I can that's what one of the cool things about acting is you can be all these different kind of people without judgment because you're playing a role. So you get to get that out of your system. Say, I'm very different than the characters that I often play. Um, so when I'm doing it, I feel like I'm playing. It's so much fun for me. The only time I would say that it's difficult is when I'm supposed to be like super happy or things are great or I'm supposed to really be in love with this guy that I'm working opposite and I don't feel that way. That's hard when I'm working with someone I don't necessarily like as a person in real life and I have to be all in love with them or I'm not in a good mood and I have to play up this. It's very easy for me to be mean and mad, but depending on my mood, I gotta work on the other side. I had this director tell me once, a director I really loved. He said, "I believe every emotion that comes out of you, but I'm not quite certain about the happy, joyful things." But at the time, I wasn't very happy and joyful. So, of course, it would have been hard for him to recognize that as believable in me. Um, I can find that a lot easier now. But moods are moods, and I'm sure doing this show, sometimes you have been like, okay, God, let me put my game face on because I ain't into this right now. That,
Yeah,
yeah.
it gets like that. It gets like that to the point to
Hmm.
where I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
But I got
especially when
to.
you don't get a break. When you do it consistently. You're on episode 75. I've been doing my podcast and my radio show now a couple years, and almost maybe almost at 100 episodes, and so I know how that feels. It's like my daughter
Yeah,
was supposed to be on my show last week, and I was so excited. But then she was going through some stuff. She's like, "I really can't do it." So I had to take a break, and I was like, "A break. Yay." It's nice
yeah.
to it's nice to have them every once in a while. I you know.
It's crazy too. It was one time when I was in the summertime. I just got finished grilling, a long day of grilling,
Mm.
and I wanted to lay down, and God was like, "Get up, get up, get up, get up! You gotta get up, you gotta get up! It's time to promote the show. Time to promote the show." I'm like, "Oh my God!" Then I got up,
Mhm.
promote the show, then went right to sleep afterwards because
Yeah,
it was a
it's
gruesome
work.
day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's work. It's that's the thing. It's like I this for me, my podcast, my radio show is really giving back for me. It's self-help platform. So it's really more about hopefully encouraging, helping, inspiring someone out there. Usually not me so much as my guests. Um, so it's important work. It's
Right.
important. But I always having to remind myself to keep myself in the joyful place because sometimes work can get, overwhelming and you get tired of it, you know. But
Yeah.
if it's your purpose, you gotta figure that out and keep moving with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you
Mhm.
don't, it's a very big skill to you have to take it to the next level, take it to the next level, take it to the next level. You know what I mean? Hold on. I got two messages that says, "Hey, I remember her from a few good movies."
Mhm.
It said "Mo Better Blues" and "Caught Up," my faves. See,
Cool.
everybody knows you.
Yeah, I've been
Now,
around for a little while.
so what was it like working with Bukim Woodbine?
I loved working with Bokeem. Bokeem was nothing like the characters that he played, kind of like me, his personality was not the same in real life as the characters that he's played. He's played some pretty passionate, roughneck kind of thuggish guys back in those days. But when I met him, he was just a sweet kid that was a rock and roller. You know what I mean? He loved playing rock and roll on his guitar in his trailer. That's what he did all the time. And he was like a suburbanite kind of dude, real, just
Mm,
normal. And actually quite shy. I think that might have been the first movie where he was put in a position to have to do love scenes. So I felt like I was kind of the leader when it comes to that kind of stuff with him because he was new to that. And actually, most guys that I've worked with, I'm their first experience with love scenes in the past. So often I was put in a position of leading that and helping the guys feel comfortable doing those kind of intimate scenes. To be honest with you, I'm very happy that I've gotten a little older because I am so over that. I mean, it was good. It opened doors. It gave me a sex symbol appeal, but I'm more than that by far, and it's nice now to play more complicated characters. Not to say that sexuality isn't a beautiful thing, it's a good thing, it's a necessary thing, and if shown and shared in a way that's not gratuitous, not over the top and ridiculous, but respectfully and with love, it's awesome. Unless it's a F scene. If it's an F scene, that's another thing. I've done those too. I've done those too, and that was never fun for me. Uh,
Very
but
understandable.
I'm glad to be beyond that, to be honest with you. I'm like, I got to be getting a nice big old paycheck, and the script has to be phenomenal, and the crew amazing for me to even consider doing a love scene again. You know, I also had some body double stuff. I've had other people being me. I don't mind that as much. Yeah, she's pretty. Show her body. Um,
Very understandable.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, you don't become a senior citizen and can't get some of the benefits. Like, you know, why do I gotta show everything anymore?
Yeah, yeah, very understandable. I feel that a lot of people in Hollywood, a lot of females in Hollywood are not given the true chance to really make the money that they're supposed to make, that they should make, because a lot of the most some of the female movies are just as good as the male movies.
Mm.
But how society is, it's how Hollywood is really. How Hollywood is, it's very male cynical, you know what I'm saying? But they
I think it's
favoritism.
also it's also about money. I mean, the there's not a huge amount of support for female endeavors like men. For instance, like, look at the sports,
Hmm.
WNBA versus the NBA. It's
Right.
a different it is a different game. It comes across different. I don't care how amazing the girls are, they're still girls, they're women. They're strong, they're athletic, they're amazing. But the game just is different when it comes from women than when it comes from men. So the support isn't there so much as it should be, I think. And it's the same for all things that are driven by women, um, unless you just get that unicorn job or that unicorn situation where a woman is in a lead position, at least you know uh, in front of the camera, and people support it. But most of the time, women specifically, prefer to watch men. You know, it's about dollars and cents sometimes.
Very understandable.
Hmm.
So you being having a life that you had. What was your what was your inspiration for being an actress?
Well, when I was a young child, though I had many, as a young child, I had a couple brothers, a lot of cousins, male cousins that lived with us at one point or another. My family is very patriarchal. So the women were quite quiet, and kept to themselves. And so there was just me for a long time. My sister Monica was born when I was 14. So for 14 years, I was the only girl in my generation. And because of the patriarchal nature of my family, that meant I was alone most of the time. So I was alone, I was religious, I was shy, introverted. So who was there to talk to? Me. So I talked to myself all the time out loud. I would perform entire scenarios with me and someone I might be mad at, or somebody I might have a crush on, or a teacher who I wanted to, tell my thoughts to, or whatever. And so instead of directly doing it to those people, I did not have the chutzpah to do that. I was too shy. And so I would talk out loud and act it out. I would be myself and I would be them, and I would have the full conversation. And I did that all the time, sometimes not even without my awareness. I got to the point where I was talking to myself so much, and I still do, that people are like, huh? I'm like, oh, no, no, no. I'm just talking to myself. Um, so that was part of it. And I was always a creative person. I was a singer first. My uncle was a professional singer, so he trained me first and foremost. And then in school, I had wonderful music teachers. And that usually, if you're in public schools, you usually will transition into musical theater. And that will eventually take you to theater. So it was a
Mm,
natural progression for me. There was never, I never in my mind, never considered anything else. I was going to be a singer, and then I was going to be an actress and a writer. That was my goals, and that's what I've stuck to. Now I've had to have little jobs here and there, especially when I had my daughter, and I did not want to give her a life of being raised by other people. I wanted to raise her, so I mean I had to walk away for a while from my career, and do other things to still make a living. Because I was never a people call me a star, right? Oh, she's a star. But there's usually two sides to that. There's the rich and then there's the famous. Famous, yeah, rich, not so much. So I had to work. And I'm glad that I had other skills, but what I love to do and all I want to do when it comes to my career is this stuff that I've been doing.
awesome, awesome. So you being a person that really, took a hold of the acting situation, are there other talents that you have?
For the most part, my skills are creative in nature. I'm I do like home decorating, that kind of stuff. I do crafts, that kind of stuff. I used to do needlepoint, do art designs on jeans and stuff because we didn't have a lot of money, so I had to wear hand-me-downs. So in order to make my hand-me-downs interesting, I would add some flourishes here and there with needlepoint. My aunt Spring taught me how to do that, and crocheting. My stepmother taught me, Susan, how to do that, and I anything to make things pretty. I have a green thumb. I love plants. I love all nature. I'm a nature person. I love animals, though. Unlike my mom and my daughter, who are animal fanatics about having them in the house, I love animals outside in nature. I love to see a coyote run past, a wolf I've even seen, panther. I love them outside. I don't want the responsibility of them being with me in my home simply because I've been raising somebody's kid for my whole life. So I don't want the extra responsibility of, um, but yeah, the creative arts, singing, writing, acting. I've written my first memoir. I wrote another thing in a different book, Faith Failure, uh, Faith Failure Success, Surviving the Storm, screenplays, stuff like that.
Mm,
Yeah, producing,
awesome.
got a couple of shows that I'm trying to do that are more reality based, little short things that I'm working with. I have a new partner, Augusta and Garibaldi, with the Garibaldi Creative Group, working with them, and so sticking to what I do. I teach
Oh,
also. I do teach and I
awesome.
coach. Yeah.
Awesome. So you being a teacher and a coach, what kind of teaching do you do?
All acting for the most part, acting, anything to do with business. I consult with people on how to get into business, and unlike some people, I'm one that grasps the new. I don't shy away from it. So when show business started changing the way that it did, I changed with it. I adapted with it. That's why I've been able to maintain my relevancy, is because I stay active on social media. I learn the technology, because I just always recognized that once you start getting older, you stop exploring the new, and I never wanted to do that. So I know about how things used to be and can grab information from there, but I also know how things are working now. So I can share with people, and I just actually finalizing an LLC and gonna start doing it professionally because I do it for free all the time, and I actually it's worth quite a bit of income to do it for a fee because it's a lot of time. So the
Very
business
well.
of entertainment, I consult, and then of course how to act and working with people and bringing out the best of a performance in anybody, any age, child, old, young, whatever. I would take clients from any age range.
Awesome, awesome.
Mhm.
So, so like, okay, with your
Also,
podcast, is it,
I forgot to tell
go
you
ahead.
this, and that kind of leads into what you're going into. I am also a hypnotherapist.
Okay.
I forgot to mention I always ended up being the set shrink on every movie I'd ever done. It's like I'm always knocks on my door and someone coming to me about something they're going through in their personal lives. And I got to the point where I was like, I need to get some real education and skills. My natural abilities were helpful, but I wasn't protecting myself from all of the neediness that came into my life from folks. And so I became a hypnotherapist. uh, I'm not a practicing hypnotherapist. I don't hypnotize people, and so and it's not real. If someone says, "Oh, she's going to hypnot," no, no, you can only hypnotize someone that wants to be hypnotized. And I did not learn how to do this for that reason. I do my own self
Right.
hypnosis, and I now I can help people with a knowledge instead of a guessing game.
Very
Mhm.
understandable. Very.
Mhm.
So, I seen that you have a couple of other movies coming up. So, do you believe that you've made it to the top, or do you feel like you still got a lot of work to be done?
Oh my gosh. Oh, not even close to being anywhere near the top. Matter of fact, I don't expect anybody is. I mean, there's always more to do, but yet at the same time maintaining satisfaction where you are. That's
Oh,
my key. Being satisfied where you are, thankful, grateful for what you've done, but always striving for more, not because you need it, but because that's what life is about. It's about expansion, it's about growing and evolving. And if you're just sitting still in what you've done, you're not growing. As a matter of fact, my friend Robert from Mad as Hell, he's like the perfect example of a person that's all about expansion. I don't know if I know many people that have as much education as he has, skills and abilities that he has. It's pretty amazing. I need a drink of water. Hold on one second.
no, you're good. You're good. Take your time.
Mm. So, anyway, what else were we talking about? Sorry.
You're right. You're right. So, you know, I wanted to let you get the all the coughing out. Yeah, go ahead. Do your thing.
Okay.
Alrighty, you good? Yeah. So, sure you're feeling good, feeling, all right. Making sure, making sure. So, what is the hardest role you ever had to play?
Hmm. I've had a few. I've had a few. Um, for different reasons. One, I'd had a really bad experience personally. Someone did some horrible stuff to me. So that one was hard. Not because of the film, but because of what I was dealing with with different people that were part of the production that went south. But the movie itself wasn't bad. Um, but I did have one movie, I guess. I don't want to mention the name of it. I did a movie that was a independent film by a foreign company. They weren't from here. So their ideas of boundaries were very different. And the role I was playing was a very dark, gritty role. And the person I was playing opposite was not a nice person at all. It was a very, very difficult project to do because there was so many inappropriate things that happened on the set and that they tried to make happen. And then on top of it all, they only paid me half of the money that I was due. So
Wow.
I've had lots of interesting, difficult stories, experiences in my career. Too many, but I don't think I'm special. I think people go through this stuff all the time. It's just they don't always talk about it. But yeah, that was a very difficult project. And like I said, I don't want to mention names because I don't want anybody suing me. uh,
Very understandable. Very
yeah,
understandable.
even though everything I say is true, there's always two sides to a story. But that one was difficult because there's, I can say this, there was a lot of drinking on the set. I mean, people stayed drunk. So, when you don't have that filter, when you're drinking or you're doing drugs and you don't have that filter, then it can have you doing some stupid, crazy things that are very offensive. And, and then to have to play opposite people that are drunk, it's just hard. Who are trying to,
Very understandable.
really being inappropriate with you as an actor. It was not a safe space at all to create. Um, but the movie ended up being people really loved the movie, and so. But it wasn't any of
Well,
the big ones, you guys. So don't even think about it. The ones that you guys love so much, it wasn't any of those. So it was another film I
very
did.
understandable.
Mhm.
So, what are the roles that you do love, that you do want,
That I want or that I've done already.
that you've done and also want to do
Well,
more?
hmm, I have honestly played some roles that I have never even seen the movie. That were really fun things to do, but I have not seen them. There's a guy that I actually still work with. His name is Stephen Wolf. He has a company called Sneak Preview Productions, and I've done I think 4 movies with him. And every role I had in any one of those movies was a nice juicy role to sink my teeth into and say something different. The characters were all very unique. So like the first one was called Relax, It's Just Sex. That was a very, very nice role for me to sink my teeth into and have fun with. Although she is crazy. She was a lesbian, but she was the most like me of all the characters I've ever played when it comes to her personality. And so I really enjoyed that. Uh, and I learned a lot, honestly, from everything I've done, even the difficult ones. Roles that I want to do, I like playing roles like I did with the Mad as Hell. I really like playing empowered women that are flawed. Uh,
Mm,
so seeing women that are growing, not necessarily perfect, pure, and not necessarily, hoish and whatever else, the other different kind of the extremes. I like seeing real complicated people uh, solving problems in movies. So that can come in any genre. That could come in a horror genre. That could come in a sci-fi, that can come in drama, comedy, it doesn't matter. Those kind of characters should be in every one of those genres. If the movie is going to be the best that it can be, the characters need to be real. I remember when Marvel, it started with Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., using a really good actor to play that kind of character, brought so many layers to the character that they built this huge, huge series of films based on finding actors that could be complex and not just one thing, the villains and the heroes, and
Right.
that's why those movies did so well. So whatever roles I play, I'd like to be able to do that. If those options aren't in the film, if it's no complications, no fun, no good paycheck, I ain't doing it. I'm being very picky about what I do.
Understandable. Very
Mhm,
understandable.
mhm.
so, so when it comes to your podcast and all that stuff, do you have a lot of people coming up to you talking about your old films and that you've been in, and what do you have to say about
Well,
that?
my podcast has nothing to do with me. It's about other people. Every
Okay.
once in a while, yeah, every once in a while I do a solo podcast. And then I started the whole process wanting to interview other people, but kind of like a chicken soup from the soul from a perspective of a black woman, different. But people didn't know me or trust me. They just saw Cinda Williams, the actress. They didn't know me as a person. So I had to
Mm.
do a lot of stuff by myself first. I wrote that book, did a blog, all of that. And then people started seeing me as a person that they could trust to talk to and share their story with. So I might mention in the podcast something about myself and my past, but it's really more about my guests. And my guests come from every walk of life. Some of them are entertainers and are artists, but some of them are, you know, um, engineers and a grandmother or a child. I've had a variety of people. That's why I love the platform, because I can talk to anybody and anybody can help somebody. So
You know, this has been a learning time for me too, interviewing you, because at least I'm seeing a lot more color, a
mm,
lot more visual, and a lot more taste to what you actors are all about, and
mm,
y'all bring such a important element to life that a lot of people don't have. And what I mean by that is, because I'm an artist, right? I'm a comic book artist and a writer. So
mhm, mhm,
like I know what it's like to have to deal with storylines and have to build characters, have to build all of that. So and y'all are able to play those characters and all are able to display those characters, and I understand that as well, and that made me really want to push more to doing what I do now. And I want to thank you
mm.
for what you're just doing for to help me
I'm
as well.
I'm not sure if the audience hears what I hear, but the last two sentences went back to Mr. Roboto. So I don't know what that.
I don't know. Sometimes it just sometimes it does.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I could understand what you're saying, but it
Hold on,
got.
hold on, hold on, hold on. Am I back? Am I good? Am I good?
Mm-mm,
Shit.
mm.
Are we good now?
That's better. Yes, yes,
I don't know what's the hell going on. It's I guess it's
yeah,
probably because Wi-Fi is on.
yeah, yeah. So I'm sorry. What is the last thing you said? I missed it.
I was saying basically, what I was trying to say was thank you for bringing for showing me a better way to incorporate characters that have
Ah,
more emotion, and thank you for helping me to see a lot of the things that I did not see when creating and building characters that have that something that people are not seeing or not able to see, you know.
Yeah, I think that, if your character has more than a couple of lines, something about them should be interesting. You know what I mean?
Right.
Something about them should be complex because that's how people are. Even the day players, even the in and out people, that's why when I write, I try to make it so that if anybody reads the script, any actor reads the script, even if it's a smaller role, they're like, I want to do that, just because there's so much texture there. There's so many complexities that they can play with and bring to life, without being vain and over the top, but real, real
Hmm.
characters. That's what makes, to me, the best movies, theater, anything, art. Yeah, or, although art can be very complex in its simplicity, um, but yeah, that's important to actors. I think that a lot of people like my writing because they know that it will appeal to actors because I know what appeals to me, So
Hmm.
when I write, I'm not trying to write,
Yeah.
just to, get a plot line. I'm trying to write so that, people can grow in the process of making it. Because once you do a movie, you're done with it for the most part. The growth happens right there while you're doing it. And if there's nothing to really get into, then it's a paycheck, maybe. Although these days the paychecks are very low. But but it's you get something out of anything you put something into. But I try to give my characters, whoever's doing the part, something meaningful to take away from the job, for their
Right.
lives. Mhm.
Right. So, you know, is there anything that, matter of fact, let me go back, let me go back, let me back
Mhm.
up. Do you have five actors and actresses that you admired before you did all of this, or do you just got into it just,
Yeah, I really wasn't a movie person at all. I was very illiterate when it came to movies because I was doing stuff myself. I was big time in the church. I was acting in musical theater. I was singing all over the place. I was a big reader, but not movie because that cost money and we didn't have it. So I didn't go see movies. I would see stuff on television once in a blue moon on a few channels that we had. Um, so I was really illiterate at that. Um, but as I honestly, Mo Better Blues was when I finally started learning about movies and actors and all of that. And honestly, there are so many out there that I love and respect. My favorite actor is Jeffrey Wright. He is my favorite actor because he's my favorite kind of actor. I love an actor that is so good at being the characters that you forget who they are. You don't see Jeffrey Wright. You see whatever character that he's playing. And no disrespect for personality actors who play themselves in every role, because the reason why they're doing so well is their personality is awesome. But for me, I prefer to watch a master pretender, someone that can be any different kind of person. And there's not that many actors like that these days. It's a lot of personalities. Um, but I love them all. I love their work. There a lot of these black girls out there now. They're younger than me. They're hot. They're so funny, carrying movies. Um, I would love to work with all of them, but it might not be in the capacity of actor to actor. It might be more of production. Maybe I'll be on a production or something, and in the process of hopefully hiring them. Um,
you got, very
mhm.
understandable. So, you know, I know you said that you had to go or whatever,
Mhm.
Would you like to come on for a recap show?
Sure, I can do that. Yeah,
I
me
would
too.
like to, because what I want to do is like do a recap show of you coming, of you, part two of the Cinda Williams,
Mhm.
adventure into your career, and I would like to, have you back on the show whenever you're ready.
Sure. Definitely. Just let me know a good time, maybe next year, and we'll see what's going on. Like I said, I have a couple of I'm doing this TikTok thing. I was doing, just watching TikToks for a while, and several young people are like, I don't understand. Why are you on there, but you're not doing anything? So I started doing this little thing called, well, two things. One is called Showbiz Sin. So
Hmm.
basically, it's just sharing some information about myself, my career, and little quips of things that I learned. And then the other one is called Walking Meditations because I walk every day, and it's a time that I think about a whole lot. So
Right.
again, a quick little quip about something I'm meditating on or thinking about that. And then I'm doing these, I've got a couple of YouTube ideas that I'm working on with my partner, and then of course I'm attached to a few movies that are supposed to be happening next year. We'll see what happens. This year was a difficult year. The economy and the stock market really, really threw us into a mess when it comes to independent filmmaking. So a lot of stuff that I was supposed to do didn't happen. It was a hard year. Uh, Hopefully, we're coming up on a better one.
Well, hey, things happen, But hey, you know what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to
Mhm,
do is have like for the 100th episode of the In Your Face show. I want to do like a round table discussion with
mhm,
all the people that's been on the show, right?
mhm.
And and that's the celebration of the 100th episode, and it's going to be the ending episode, the ending season of the In Your Face show, which will be going into which the 100th episode will be the 100th, like the last episode of the season. So we're
Okay.
gonna be starting this next season on the next episode, not this episode, but the 102 episode, 101 episode, one of them. But
Mhm,
and
mhm.
what I want to do is, have you on that show during there,
All
and
you gotta do is let me know when, and I'll work it out. Definitely, definitely want to
yeah,
participate. Mhm,
yeah, I want to, get y'all out there, do your thing. But let me take us out, and you doing what you're doing,
mhm,
and hey,
mhm.
hit me up at any time. I want to be able to talk to you. I want to get to know you,
Mhm.
Mount, get to know you, and build a rapport.
Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, man.
Not
I don't, I've been like, haven't, I don't know if you've noticed, but I haven't said your name because I'm like, do I call you King? Do I call you Daniel? What do I?
You can call me anything you want, King Daniel, Daniel. It's up to you.
Okay. All right.
Not a
Well,
problem.
thank you so much for having me on and supporting Mad as Hell. I'm
Uh-huh.
proud to be a part of that and a part of the family that puts movies together with Robert Parham out in California, Northern California. So hopefully you'll be seeing more from us really soon. Um, and you never know. And check me out on Facebook under Cinda Will or Cinda Williams, Instagram. Follow me wherever. And talk TikTok. I do that every week. So hope you guys connect. Thank you so much for introducing me to your audience. And I'll probably be talking to you about you coming on mine.
Not a problem, because
Mhm.
I love doing shows. I don't care. Let's go.
Cool. Cool.
know, but
Mhm.
yeah, I would like to take us out, you know what I'm saying? Give us a little introduction, you know what I'm saying? Well,
Mhm.
thank y'all for watching. It's been well. Y'all been here with the Swagnificent One, the best host and all of entertainment, me. So thank y'all for being a part of the show and just chiming in. And it's been an in your face show with Cinda Williams and King Taylor. Thank you. Peace.